All right, let's talk about Power BI. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on this incredibly powerful tool. We're going to go through the whole journey, from starting with a messy spreadsheet all the way to finding that one crystal clear insight that can totally change how a business makes decisions. So let's just dive right in.
Look, we've all seen the end result, right? These beautiful, interactive charts and dashboards. And because of that, it is so easy to think that Power BI is just for making data look pretty. But as expert Devin Knight says here, that's kind of like thinking a chef's only job is to put the food on the plate. The real work, the real magic, that all happens way, way before you see the final product.
So, if it's not just about the fancy charts, then what is all that other stuff? What's the hidden work that makes the difference between a report that's just confusing and one that's genuinely powerful? Well, that's exactly what we're about to break down. The very first step, and honestly, the one that most people skip, it has absolutely nothing to do with software. Not at all. It's about having a plan. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't build a house without a blueprint, right? So why would you try to build a meaningful report without knowing what you're trying to figure out in the first place?
And this is such a classic mistake. As Allison Gonzalez points out, so many people get a new data set. They get excited, they open up Power BI, they start clicking around, and then, bam, they hit a wall. And why? It's because they skip the most important question. What am I actually trying to solve here?
So what does a good plan even look like? It's actually pretty simple. It's all about asking the right questions. Instead of just jumping into a bunch of test scores, you ask things like, hey, is this tutoring program actually working? Or do kids who play sports get better grades? These specific questions, they become your roadmap, guiding every single click you make later on. Okay, so once you have your questions, now the technical work can begin. And it's not just some chaotic mess of clicking buttons. Nope, it's a really structured, four-phase journey that takes your data from its raw, and let's be honest, often messy state and transforms it into a clear, compelling story.
And this is that journey. This is the core life cycle of pretty much any Power BI project. First up, phase one is data discovery. This is the grunt work, right? Connecting to your data and cleaning up all the errors and the blank spots. Then, phase two is data modeling. Here, you're kind of like a detective, finding the connections and teaching Power BI how a student's table is supposed to talk to a test scores table. It's only after that solid foundation is built that you finally get to phase three, data visualization. This is the fun part, building the charts. And then finally, phase four is data sharing, where you publish your report so your team can actually use it to make smarter decisions.
Now for that first phase, data discovery, Power BI has this incredible tool built right in called Power Query. The best way to think about it is like a prep station in a kitchen. It's not where the final dish gets made, but it's where all the crucial chopping and cleaning and organizing happens. And trust me, if your data is a mess here, your final report is going to be a mess too.
Then for phase two, data modeling, you often need this special language called DAX. I know, the name sounds a little intimidating, but don't let it scare you. It's basically just Power BI's version of Excel formulas. It's what lets you create brand new information, like calculating the average score for an entire school district from thousands of individual test results.
So, we've talked about planning, cleaning, and modeling. And yeah, it can feel like a lot of work before you ever get to the fun part of making cool charts. But there is a huge payoff for doing all this foundational work, and it all comes down to one simple word: trust.
And this story from Devin Knight, man, it just perfectly illustrates the danger of skipping those steps. He talks about building this visually stunning report for a bunch of executives, but they found one single error, one number that was off, and that tiny little mistake completely derailed the entire meeting. It just destroyed all trust in the report. The beautiful visuals meant absolutely nothing because the data foundation was cracked. All that hard work, gone because of one mistake.
And that's really what this all boils down to. A flashy dashboard is totally useless if the numbers are wrong. The real power of Power BI isn't just making pretty charts. It's giving you the tools to make sure that the data you're showing is clean, accurate, and completely trustworthy.
So just remember, this whole process, the planning, the cleaning, the modeling, it's not really about data at the end of the day. It's about finding the truth. It's about moving beyond just staring at numbers on a screen and finally understanding the story that your data has been waiting to tell you all along.